everyone, Keel here. It's been a long while since I've done a challenge for Pokemon. There has been a lot going on in these last couple of months, but I'm back and finally am in good health. I'm not going to go into much more detail, but if you would like to find out about what has been happening, go and follow my Twitter. Today's challenge run is a bit more of a tribute than anything else. The Pokemon in question is Charmander, lovingly nicknamed Char Char. This is the first Pokemon I ever started with back in 1998. Today, I asked the question of, can Charmander beat Pokemon Brilliant Diamond with no items in battle? Let's check out its stats. In terms of overall stats, it's on par with pretty much any other normal starter. Special attack and speed are the best, followed by attack and special defense. It seems every time we do one of these challenges, special attacks are always the way to go, and there's been no exception to that. Now let's tackle the level up and TM lists. Level up wise, it will not take long to get Flamethrower, which will be our move pretty much the entire run. Dragon Breath will get us by anything that is resistant to fire, and also until we get Dragon Pulse a little bit later on. Otherwise, none of the other moves will be used. Taking a look at the TMs are some favorite ones. Work Up will be our stat increaser, Dragon Pulse can be picked up just after the third rival fight, and finally the dreaded Double Team will make a return. It's not going to be used until some of the fights that cannot be won. With all of that out of the way, the rules of the challenge are pretty much as follows. I can only use Charmander in battle, no items used during battle, and finally, click that subscribe button to see more. Let's blast through. The main things we are looking for once the Charmander has hatched is the nature. We got a pretty okay nature with Rash, as it increases special attack while reducing special defense. Char Char's defenses were not good anyways, so it really doesn't hinder us too badly. First up is the beginning rival fight with Connor. Before this fight, I picked up the TM for Work Up in Jubilife City. Nothing too much of note in this fight, just the standard hit each other until one loses. Preferably not Char Char. With Connor defeated for the first time, it's time to turn our attention to Rorik of Orberg. This gym leader fight took quite a few tries to get through, mainly due to Geodude using rollout first turn and pretty much annihilating us. This one attempt, however, did a double defense curl which let Char Char set up a double Work Up. Our best attack here is Dragon Breath due to more power and not being reduced from type matchups. This takes care of the Geodude, and Onix is up. With it having Sturdy, it will get a hit in on us. Thankfully not too bad of one, doing only 14 HP. With Onix taken care of, we have Cranidos. It's not what I expected though. Cranidos happens to be slower than Char Char, and a single +2 Dragon Breath wins the first gym badge. Now we make our way to Eterna City, but before we can proceed, Commander Mars is impeding our way. Mars was not threatening at all this time around. She attempted to Supersonic not once, but twice, and failed. This led Char Char to a double Work Up and knocking out the Zubat in a timely manner. Purugly, on the other hand, was a completely different story. Fake Out at the start to deal a pretty decent chunk of HP, then a Scratch to do even more damage. Our Dragon Breath left the Purugly with most of its HP, but paralyzed. Then a high roll Dragon Breath to take it out the rest of the way. Not too shabby this time. Next up is Gardenia, the grass type trainer. By this time, Char Char has picked up Flamethrower from its level up pool. For safety, even though it was not really needed, we did a double Work Up before putting the Char on all of these grass types. The only threatening part of the fight was the attempted Stun Spore from Roserade, but it missed. Earning the second badge allows us access to the Galaxy building in Eterna. In here, we have Jupiter. Normally it's a major challenge with some resets that could happen. However, this time it was not the case. While we did get a bit nervous from the confusion, the Poison Fang did a whopping 9 damage to Char Char without poisoning. Breaking through confusion is always satisfying to see happen. Finally, the Skuntank is slower than Char Char, and a Flamethrower takes it down a couple of stinks. Now with the gas mask off, it seems to be another Connor fight. This was a bit more worrying due to Piplup being involved, and having a water move that could potentially destroy us. Starly is as fun as always. We traded stat moves for 3 whole turns, when on the 4th turn, Starly popped with Endeavor dealing 20 damage. I got a little scared and had Char fire off at the Starly, knocking it out. Primplup was next, and being a +4 special attack really helped to knock out the Primplup before it could deal anything too crazy to Char. Sadly, it's pretty much the same for the other two members of his team. Ponyta should have attacked, but worried about its speed instead. Roselia could do nothing as Char was faster and Flamethrower was hot. From here on out, the fights start getting a bit tougher, if not almost impossible. Maylene took a few tries just from Machoke knocking us out in a single hit. On the win, we only got one workup in before Meditite did bulk up. That's scary enough to make me want to switch to attacking. One Flamethrower was enough to bring it back down to size. It's a good thing too because Machoke was a one-shot to Flamethrower as well. Finally is Lucario. He is still faster than Char, and a Drain Punch deals a massive 60 damage. Lucario can't stand the heat, and it leaves the kitchen for now. Now we move to the fourth hardest fight in this challenge run. Crasher Wake has our weakness on Dial. The best solution I could come up with was using Smokescreen to reduce accuracy long enough to pop some workups. It takes a while to get everything set up, and only taking 10 damage to knock out the first Pokemon, Gyarados. Most times he would actually just end the fight in 2 turns. Next up is Quagsire, but it doesn't really do anything and just gets knocked out. Last but not least is Floatzel. An Aqua Jet brought Char down to 40 HP, but a Dragon's Breath does a whole lot more, especially with it being powered up like we did. After all that, the lake is drained and Connor has returned for another showdown. Connor's Pokemon are basically the same as they were from Hearthome City. The only major difference is movesets and a bit more leveled up. Once again, we trade stat increases between Starly's double teams increasing evasion and Char increasing attack and special attack. The 5th turn rolls around and we just start attempting to hit and miss. Endeavor comes out again and only hits for 41 damage. Next turn, however, Char breaks through the double teams and lands the Dragon Breath to knock out Starly. From here on out, it's smooth sailing. Primplup falls to a Dragon Breath, followed by Ponyta to a Dragon's Breath, and finally Roselia to a Flamethrower. Not too shabby once again. Once he is down, we finally pick up the TM for Dragon Pulse, a very much needed upgrade to our Dragon attack. With our newfound attack, it's Ghost Gem time. The best way to describe Fantina is you never know what you're getting until you get it. What I mean is, most of her Pokemon are faster than Char and can do major damage. But this time, it felt as if she was toying with us. Drifblim is the only slow one of the group. One workup from us and a Flamethrower pops the Drifblim. Gengar is up next, and this is where it gets interesting. Confuse Ray is a pretty tough move to deal with. Becoming confused, if it works, sucks. And of course against me, it works. Char never hit itself in confusion and threw that flame at Gengar to knock it out. For some reason, I expected Miss Magius to do more damage with Phantom Force, but it was weak. We got left with 1 HP and not from Friendship either. One last attack from Char and the ghostly denizens are vanquished. With that out of the way, Connor pops up for the next to last time. It was quite a strange fight this time. Staravia double teamed, then endeavored, and finally double teamed again before swapping out for Ponyta. I mean, it's smart to do since it has Flash Fire to nullify Flamethrower. One problem though, he did not account for the Dragon Pulse coming out. With Ponyta being slower, just one Dragon Pulse takes care of it. This fight could have gone completely different if Staravia had stayed out longer to whittle down Char. Primplup was taken down with a Dragon Pulse. Heracross was the same, but with a Flamethrower. Next comes Staravia again without the stat boost since it swapped out. Finally is Roselia, but it cannot stand the heat and withers away. Connor has been taken out once again, and now it's high time for the Steel Gem. I'm sorry for how this gym went, but each time I tried it without double team, Steelix would Earthquake Char from full HP down. After 5 double teams, Char shot out a Flamethrower to take down the Bronzor. Next up is Steelix with Sturdy. It's always 2 turns to deal with it, but at least it missed the Earthquake. Bastiodon is his final Pokemon. Char's Flamethrower only did about half HP, but at least it burned. Bastion did hit the Stone Edge, but with the burn, it actually did very little damage. Next turn, Char could not knock it out, but Bastiodon went for Iron Defense instead. Pretty useless considering we're actually using special attacks. Finally, the next turn is the knockout for the 6th gym badge. Normally at this point, I show the Mars and Jupiter fights, but they always end the same and are super easy. From now on, unless the fights are really struggling, they will not be shown. In their place, how about a word from our sponsor, PowerA? Take a look at this brand new Joy-Con charging dock for the Nintendo Switch. For only $22.99, you can charge up to 4 Joy-Con controllers at the same time. With it being powered by USB, it easily fits next to your Nintendo Switch so you can game all day long. Remember, use code Syndikill5 at checkout to receive 5% off. Play your way. Sometimes Candace can just be a pain in the ass to deal with. This time, however, was not one of those cases. Fire beats ice. Need I say more? The only damage that was taken was from the hail falling on the battlefield. Sneasel and Medicham had chances, but Sneasel Honeclawed and Medicham missed a rock slide. Finally, Abomasnow is 4 times weak to fire. That's how you melt the ice. Normally at this point as well, I would show the first Cyrus and final Saturn fights. Same with the previous 2, they are easily dispatched. The next fights are the double fight with Mars and Jupiter. I had to level up almost 15 times, not because of these 2, but because of Cyrus destroying me each and every time. Mars and Jupiter are actually quite comical. Char just spams Flamethrower the entire time to win. So yes, the double fight was extremely easy each time I got it. Now for the 3rd hardest fight in the game. A fight to win the freedom of the legendary Pokemon Palkia. The thing with this fight is we need 2 workups for this to even work. When Honchkrow hits with its Night Slash, the damage is over half of Char's HP, and we cannot take another one. If we only get 1 workup, it's not enough to knock out the Gyarados that comes next. On Gyarados, a Rock Slide with the added boost from workup is enough to knock out in 1 hit. To see why this is important, Weavile is next. It will always use Dig and deals more than half of our HP. That's the problem, is how much damage is dealt in this fight. As soon as Weavile does its damage, it gets knocked out with Flame. Finally is Crobat, but the damage it does is nothing to worry about. As soon as Crobat falls, the fight is won. This one fight took longer than the entire game just to get through. With Cyrus out of the way, our attention turns to the final gym leader. You know Volkner all too well at this point. Volt Switching Maniac. Volt Switch surprisingly did not do as much as anticipated. Once the switch happens, Ambipom comes out, but does not get to stay around for long. Flamethrower will take it out. Back out again is Raichu that uses Surf on Char. Major damage coming in as 1 hit would knock us out. Since it left Char alive, a Flamethrower will take care of it. Next out is Octillery. It fires off an Octazooka, but Char holds on for dear life. A double dose of Rock Slide will finish off the Octo. Finally is Luxray, but Char is faster, and 1 Flamethrower will seal the deal here. Now for an annoyingly hard fight with Connor. Staraptor has that damn Focus Sash to keep it alive after a fatal hit, and because of that, it pops off Rain Dance to reduce our fire attacks instantly. While we get pelted with close combats, a workup is on the tap. After another turn of this and dropping to 43 HP, Rock Slide fires off to knock Staraptor out. Next up is the extremely defensive Snorlax. Rock Slide hits and flinches, which is very nice. Then the rain finally stops, and Flamethrower is back on the map again. I mean, it does take Snorlax the rest of the way out. Connor brings out Heracross next, but it's slower and gets a flame to its face. Now that Prinplup has evolved into Empoleon, a Flamethrower is neutral against it and will take it down in a single blast. Roserade still gets pummeled by a Flamethrower, and finally is Rapidash. The majestic steed falls in 1 Rock Slide. Connor is defeated, and it's Elite 4 time. I wish I could say that these were easy fights, but alas, they are extremely hard. Aaron is first with his bug types. Should be pretty easy, right? Wrong. This fight took about 10 tries to finally get the right combo of moves and items to work properly enough to win. Dustox is easy and falls in one hit. Next is Heracross. This thing will Earthquake if you're not faster and potentially knock you out in one hit. This time, however, Quick Claw activates and it lets Char knock out Heracross before an Earthquake can happen. The next two Pokemon are Beautifly and Vespiquen, but they are taken out with one single Flamethrower. Then we have the final Pokemon, Drapion. It will destroy you if it gets that Earthquake off turn 1. Quick Claw pops and Flamethrower does not quite take it down. Then a Night Slash takes Charmander below half. Finally, the next turn is Earthquake, but Char holds on to dear life again to hit the finishing blow against Drapion for the win. Now we make it to the hardest fight in the game. This particular battle took well over 100 tries. Sadly, I have to use the double team strat here for this and the next fight as well. In this challenge run, double team was only used in 5 fights. That's not bad considering how it was done before. Quagsire got enough hits in to have Char hold on for dear life once again. After that, no other hits will happen against Char as we mow through each member of her team. Just glad that it did not cause any more heartaches than it did. Oh look, we finished the fight while I was rambling. Not a moment too soon since the second hardest fight is here. The reason I ranked Flint as second was just due to the bullcrap of Rapidash. Hypnosis at times while setting up workups, and then Poison Jab dealing pretty decent damage. This not including the poison that can happen from it. This attempt double team times 6 before workup times 3 happens. It takes a few minutes and finally the Dragon Pulse to knock out the pony once again. With double team, Lopunny did not connect with its high jump kick and because of that loses half of its HP. That seems like my kind of luck. Thanks to that, it's a smooth criminal knockout. Next is Steelix. Since it does not have the ability Sturdy this time, one Flamethrower will do the trick against it. Normally Drifbloom is actually faster than Char here, but the Quick Claw activates and knocks it out before anything can happen. Finally, Infernape takes the stage. Fun fact, close combat is a one-shot to Char from full HP. Problem is, it's holding a Focus Sash to keep it alive a bit longer. However, it misses close combat. With how Flint is programmed, it's a win since he full restores and a Dragon Pulse is a one-hit KO. Next to last on the battle list is Lucian. This was by far the easiest fight in the entire run. Well, except for Gardenia. Mr. Mime is first and puts up the light screen to reduce special attack damage. I was already planning on a double workup before it came out. Then, a fairly powerful Psychic comes out and deals over half of Char's HP. Next turn we Flamethrower, but it's only half of mine's HP, before another Psychic fires off, leaving Char with only 4 HP. Next turn, the Mime finally drops, and it's Metacham's turn. Char is faster and knocks it out with a single Flamethrower. Next up is Alakazam. I'm not actually sure if it's faster than Char since the Quick Claw activated, and Flamethrower knocks it out in one hit. Now it's Girafarig, and it's down in one Flamethrower. Finally is Bronzong, but it's weak to fire and gets knocked out in one hit. Another thing that is interesting was the fact that Light Screen lasted the entire fight, and still we had the firepower to knock them out. It's that time, Cynthia is finally here, and it only took 4 tries. Sadly, we have to use double team move here, since even with one workup, Flamethrower is not enough to knock out before Char can get knocked out. However, it's not the full 6. We only go for 5, and even through all of that, Spiritomb still hit hard enough at times to be able to force Char to hold on for life for the final time. After this was 2 workup to increase those stats. Now with that out of the way, we can finally get down to business. Spiritomb goes down to a Flamethrower. Next is Gastrodon. This could have been pretty scary since it's a 2-shot with Dragon Pulse. However, it misses the Earthquake and gets knocked out the next turn. Now is the bane of my existence in every run of this, Melodic. Dragon Pulse does not do much against her, but she misses the Mirror Coat and gets burned from the Flame Orb it's holding. I went ahead and did one final workup just to make sure we have enough firepower, and Melodic tries Scald but misses. Next turn is the knockout. Next up is Roserade. It misses its attack and gets a flamethrower to its face. Lucario is next, and if we are not faster, Aura's Field will break through evasion and automatically hit. This time, Quick Claw activates perfectly, and Flamethrower knocks out Lucario in one hit. Finally is Garchomp. I had a lot of worries about this one, but look. Quick Claw activates and a Dragon Pulse into its chest knocks it out for the win against the champion. Well, this was a bit harder than anticipated. Got a little rusty from not having done a solo challenge in a couple months. I hated that Double Team had to be used at the end, but at least it was used at a minimum instead of every single time. My final words are these: I'm back and stronger than ever before. There will be some changes happening, but nothing too crazy. Make sure to check out the other challenge runs in the links below. Also, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment as well. I'll see you next time.